Hey everybody, it's Big T. I'm back with another video. Today it is Saturday, November 5th. It is 9 o'clock in the morning. I just woke up. I woke up late because I couldn't sleep last night. Yay! I went to bed probably around 3 o'clock, and then I forgot to turn my phone off and got a bunch of messages throughout the night. And yeah, it wasn't a good night, but I got my breakfast here, and today's going to be a good day, a busy day, but a good day. My church is doing a turkey dinner giveaway. It's kind of like a Thanksgiving meal, and every year, I think this is our third year doing this, we give away hundreds of turkey dinners with all the fixings to people in need within our community here. It's a great thing. It's a good reason to get up early and um, go out and help some people. But today I wanted to talk about what was my experience like going into bariatric surgery. Let me tell you, the first thing that I could tell you that I felt was fear. I was scared, and I know a lot of other people are scared of surgery in general, but when you hear about weight loss surgery, one of the main reasons why I held off for 10 years is 10 years ago I heard nothing but bad stories about bariatric surgery. So it was a scary thing for me. I kept hearing, hey, this person got it and they were sick for the rest of their life, or this person got it and they eventually died, or something happened. And so that there was a lot of scary stories around bariatric surgery 10 years ago. But today it is a lot safer. They do it laparoscopically now. And I don't know if they did it laparoscopically back then, but it is a safer procedure. And so I was still scared going to the hospital that day. And a few days before then, I was really scared. I was almost trying to talk myself out of it. I messaged my sister. I'm like, do I really need to do this? And so that's the first thing, is you're probably going to feel fear a few days before, maybe even a week before, as you're going in there. And so my personal experience, when I walked into the building, I did the wrong thing. I went straight up to the surgery floor, but I guess there was a surgical check-in on the first floor. But being a bigger guy who was having some knee problems before surgery, I had to walk around, and I couldn't find the place where to go to check in, and eventually I found it up on the third floor, and you know how big hospitals can be. So walking around trying to find the place I needed to check in was sort of difficult. I should have gone right up to the lady at the desk, but when we had a Zoom class, a nutritional class or whatever, they told us how to get to the surgical floor, and it's up on the third floor. And so I didn't think I needed to check in, but as soon as I got all the way up there, she was like, yeah, you needed to check in below on the first floor. And so I had to go all the way back to the first floor. And so the very first thing is, I sat down in front of this lady and, told her my information. And she goes, okay, well, now you need to get your blood test and your urine test. And so I was sent to the lab, which was right across the hall, so it wasn't too big of a deal. And so had my blood drawn, which I had my blood drawn 2 days before that. I don't like being pricked with needles. I mean, I don't mind it. It's not something that scares me. I'm not scared of needles. I just don't like being pricked with needles. And so it was kind of hard. Being bigger, I don't have the normal areas on my body where I get pricked with needles to take blood or whatever. Usually I get it on my hand because that's where most of my veins are visible. But yeah, from there, and then I did a urine sample, and then they took me upstairs where I signed into surgery. And so they took me to my bed. There was like a long hallway full of rooms where you get prepared for surgery, and there was like, I don't know, 20 rooms or so. And so they put me in my room, and there was a lady there. She was funny. She was a pretty big lady herself, but she was quite funny. And she would go around, and she would, okay, you need to wear this gown, and you need to, and she gave me like a bunch of wipes and stuff. So I had to strip completely down naked. I had to wipe my entire body down with these big huge wipes. And then she began to shave my stomach. And she started saying, Dr. Kia wants you to shave from the nipples down. So she shaved my entire belly. It was funny. It was uncomfortable, but it was funny at the same time. And so from there, after I got shaved, I just kind of sat there and I waited and I waited. My surgery was supposed to be at 11, but it was 12:30. I was still waiting. By about 1 o'clock, they came and got me, and they wheeled me into my room, where I was going to have the surgery. And that's probably the scariest moment, because when they wheel you into this room, there's all this equipment and huge lights overhead and this big stainless steel table, and so I had to scoot over onto the table, and they had me put my arms out, and so you're just kind of like scared, and you're looking all around, and you're looking up and down and side to side, and you're seeing all the surgical equipment, but the people there couldn't have been more nice. And so as I was being strapped down, they were strapping me down, the guy put the thing over my face. He goes, "Okay, Tony, start counting down." And so I counted down just a couple numbers down, and I was out. I was completely out. And so when I woke up, I was in probably the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. But when they wake you up, you're in sort of like an ICU room. You're in a recovery room, surgical recovery room. And so they assign nurses to you to watch over you. And so they put a BiPAP on my nose so that I could breathe. I could get help breathing after surgery, because once the anesthesia is wearing off, being a bigger guy, you're still kind of struggling to breathe. And so as that was wearing off, I was nodding in and out. I wasn't coherent. But I did know that I felt a lot of pain. And this pain was worse than when I had my gallbladder out. I was thinking it would be comparable. People were telling me it would be comparable, but it really wasn't comparable. And she was giving me some Dilaudid, and I kept asking for more, because I was like, I'm not feeling it. Like, usually when I get a shot of Dilaudid or something, or morphine, I'm like, okay, I feel great. I don't feel the pain, and it'll eventually wear off. But this time I wasn't feeling it, and I don't know if if my IV was still in where it needed to be. I don't know if it shifted off my blood, so I wasn't really getting the full effect of the medication. But yeah, that was a pretty difficult situation, just being in so much pain, and the pain meds weren't even working. And so we finally got to the time, like just sitting in that room for hours. She goes, "Okay, I can only give you one more before you go to your room." And so I was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna have to sit here and be in pain." So, but as they were wheeling me to my room, it was dark out. We crossed a window and it was dark out, and I'm like, "Wow, I had my surgery at 1:30 in the afternoon, and here it is. It's dark already." Like, I was in the recovery room for a lot of hours that I didn't realize I was in there. So from there to my room, the most painful part is I had to get up, and they had a bed in the room, so they wheeled me in on a bed, but I had to get up and go and sit on the bed that was in there in the room. And so that was the hard part, twisting for the first time. I had to grab somebody's hand, and they had to lift me up. And once I got on the bed, things started to calm down just a little bit. I got my pain meds. I was ready to go, and I just kind of rested that night. And it wasn't until the next day that they wanted me to get back up. They wanted me to go to the bathroom, which I still couldn't do at that time. And they seemed overly concerned that I couldn't urinate yet. They kept asking me to try to use the bathroom. And then after a few days of that, they were going to send me home the next day. That's usually the procedure. Once you get that surgery, they'll send you home the next day. But I was just in so much pain. They're like, "Okay, you can stay another night if you need to." And I was like, "Okay, I'll stay another night." And that turned into another night, because it's, they're like, we can tell that you're in so much pain. We don't want to send you home yet if you're not ready to go home. I was kind of ready to go home because I am more comfortable in my own bed. I have my own TV. Got my own stuff going on here. But I was like, I am just still in so much pain. Like, I was at the point of crying at one point. Just getting up to go to the bathroom. I was in a lot of pain. I was crying. And so they could tell I was in a lot of pain. So they're like, definitely stay another night. And so that was pretty much my experience at the hospital. The kind of food that they gave me, again, I mentioned it in the first video. It was cream of wheat in the morning with a Jello pack. Except this wasn't good Jello. It was calorie-free, sugar-free. It was disgusting. So I ate like one bite of it, and I didn't have any more of that. There was a lot of ice chips, and later I graduated to more water. But that first day, that first night when I was in the hospital, I did not get anything but a few ice chips. And that was difficult because when you come out of surgery and they had a tube down your throat and everything else, you are thirsty as heck, but they will not give you anything but a few ice chips. So that was very difficult. But the next morning, I was very surprised that they brought me some cream of wheat, and I ate a few bites of that, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm still kind of learning what makes me full, what's going to go down. And so I thought I'd be on a full liquid diet for the first 2 weeks. I didn't know that cream of wheat counted as a liquid, but I guess it was very liquefied. It wasn't thick. And then that night they brought me potatoes, which again was very liquefied. And so I was surprised again. I'm like, I didn't know that I could eat this stuff. I was expecting you to bring me broth or something. And they did bring me some broth. But yeah, that was really my experience. And by Friday, they asked me again, do you want to go home? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go home. I'm ready to go home. It still hurt quite a bit, but the pain was a little more managed. And I am here, 2.5 weeks. I've been home now, and I still have some pain when I stand, but it's more manageable. I can turn, I can twist, I can sleep on my side now, which I'm more of a side sleeper. I can sleep on my back, but I prefer to sleep on my side, so I'm glad I can do that. And I'm still learning. I'm still learning how to eat. I'm still learning how to get water in. Like, I'm still not getting enough water in per day. I'm trying to, but with all the fluids from my protein shakes that I have to drink in, and just guzzling down 2 things of water, trying to drink any more water than that is difficult because it fills up very quickly. And so really that's just kind of my experience at the hospital. If you're looking to get weight loss surgery, I hope my story didn't scare you away from that. My story is not common. Most people do feel good enough to go home the next day. They do give you a few pain meds to last you a few days. They normally give you 5, but they gave me 12 because I was in more pain, so they were good about that. I was scared to go home with only a couple Norcos, but she gave me 12, and I was very thankful for that. But it still seemed like it went too quickly. She did tell me, the biggest complaint I have is the nurses or the physician's assistant who is in charge of the team did tell me that if I needed more pain medication to call the office, they would take care of me. But when I called the office, they were like, no, you're fine, take Tylenol. So that's one thing to expect, is they're going to only give you a few pain meds and they're going to expect you to take Tylenol after that. So again, be prepared with the Tylenol. Get extra strength. If you can get a liquid kind, get a liquid kind. I don't like crushing my Tylenol. I couldn't find one without sugar in it. When I went to Walgreens and Rite Aid and all that, I couldn't find a Tylenol that was liquid or chewable that didn't have sugar in it. So I just have normal Tylenol and I crush it. But it's disgusting to crush your pills. So that's another thing you're gonna have to get. You're gonna have to get a pill crusher, or if you do crush your pills, you're gonna have to get used to taking them that way. They used to give liquid oxy after surgery, but they don't do that anymore because a lot of pharmacies don't have that, and they think Oxy is too strong of a medication now. So they will give you, again, 5 Norco pills, depending on the hospital. Some might give you more. Some I know give a full month's worth, but my hospital is trying to wean off of pain medication. So be prepared to have to crush your pills, to have to take Tylenol, to get your liquids in. They're going to want you to get up and go to the bathroom. And after I was able to urinate, they wanted me to pass gas. That's embarrassing, but they asked me every single day, have you passed gas yet? Have you passed gas yet? So they want to make sure that everything is working fine, all the connections are working, and you're able to pass gas. And then once I was able to pass gas, they asked, are you able to go number 2? Did you go number 2? And I wasn't able to do that until I got home, thankfully. And at first, it was diarrhea, and then I became constipated, and then I have diarrhea, and then I'm constipated again. And so you're going to go back and forth. I guess it depends on how much water that you take in. So I'm sorry if that's too much TMI. I'm not trying to be disgusting. I'm just trying to share with you my experience from having bariatric surgery and what you might be able to expect. Again, every person is different. Every body is different. We're all going to react to it differently. If you're a smaller person than me and you're still thinking about bariatric surgery, you might not be in as much pain as I was. Again, a lot of my pain was my incisions were up here in my upper abdomen, and I still have quite a bit of a belly, so it hangs down, and it pulled on all those incisions, so that was my main pain. But when I'm sitting there, when I'm laying there, I didn't feel it like you don't feel where they cut your stomach or anything like that. It's mostly the incisions that you feel. So yeah, most of my pain was standing up and walking. It wasn't sitting or laying there. You're comfortable. You get pain meds. They would bring me more Dilaudid every 4 hours, and they would alternate that with a Vicodin. They would crush the Vicodin pill for me every 2 hours. So every 4 hours it was Dilaudid, and then 2 hours, like right in between that, it would be a Vicodin if I needed it. So at the hospital, they take care of you. They make sure that you eat. They make sure that you go to the bathroom. They make sure that you're as comfortable as possible. And when you're ready to go home, you can go home. If you need to stay another night or two, they'll let you stay another night or two. It just depends on you and your situation. And so, at least my hospital was very good and worked with me. And I was able to go home, and now I'm mostly pain-free. I'm feeling a lot better, and I'm still learning quite a bit. So this has been going on long enough, 17 minutes, so I'm going to go. I got to get ready. I got to go to church, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. God bless you. I love you.